Hi Yins, how are you doing today? I hope you're all having a great day. It is Tuesday, August 3rd. I think today's August 3rd. I've been off for the last 2 days, so I'm pretty sure it's August 3rd. And I'm here for a no frills video update. It's been a while, and it seems like I'm now back to like monthly updates because life is just getting in the way, and I haven't been able to really film for you guys. But I have been able to get back into the crafting mojo and routine. So I have some updates for you, but a little bit about life. So I have been regularly, working in life and everything like that, and kind of watching the Olympics. The Olympics is something I've always been excited about, and this year I've just been kind of meh. So I have been watching a little bit. I've been getting more into it the second week when with the track and field events, but then I've noticed like yesterday and today I haven't really been into it. I don't know. It's just like maybe this year I just haven't been all that excited about it. But anyways, I hope if you love the Olympics that you're enjoying it as much as you normally do. But I do have my global shirt on because in honor of the Olympics. Anyways, if you follow me on Instagram, I have been regularly updating on Instagram as much as I normally do. A lot about plants because that has been engulfing my life as much as anything. And last night I realized I now have a pandemic in my home. Not COVID. I already had COVID. I had the trifecta of plant infestations in my home last night. I had mealybugs, thrips, and spider mites all like on one plant. And then I looked at the other plants around that plant, and there was a mixture of the three throughout all the plants, and those were all within the plants in my bedroom. So I quarantined some of them and sprayed them down in the shower with my shower head. I have one of the detachable hose shower heads, and sprayed them down with water to get the bugs off of them, and then sprayed them with neem oil. And then last night, and then I switched them out without allowing them to get near each other, and did the rest this morning. So I have, of course, then I cleaned the space really well, disinfected, vacuumed, and hoping that that will do the trick. We'll probably have to neem oil them all again next week just to ensure that there isn't any residual eggs or bugs or whatever down in the, the crevices. Hopefully that'll do the trick because all those plants are doing exceptionally well, especially my alocasia. I know alocasia tend to attract bugs, and I've been having the windows open lately, so it's amazing how bugs can just get in your home. The other plants in my house have been doing exceptionally well. Now, one of the plants that was quarantined last night and looks like it's doing well, and I'm really excited about this plant, and I just wanted to showcase it today, is this one. So I bought this on Etsy back in February as a cutting. So this is a Philodendron bipinfolium, and so it or the horsehead Philodendron, kind of looks like a horse head, the ears and the nose. So this was a cutting that came to me. Some people are leery about buying cuttings. And so I bought this on Etsy, like $20 for a cutting. Kind of rare of a plant. It's hard to find a bipinfolium that I found. And so I put it in water, didn't do all that great. And then I put it into soil, and now I have, from February, I finally have my first bipinfolium leaf. Now, obviously, it doesn't look like the parent leaf, does it? Because it's an immature leaf. So as it matures, it will then get the bipinfolium shaped leaf. So this is the immature leaf. As it gets taller and bigger, it will then look like this. So as it will eventually need to vine up, and then as it gets taller and older, it will get bigger. So I'm excited about that. So it also had thrips on this one, but I don't see thrips anymore. So happy about that. So there we go, bipinfolium. Philodendron bipinfolium. All right, now let's get into what you're interested in. Well, I'm sure you're interested in that too, or some of you are. I have everything just thrown onto my ottoman in no particular order. So let's just go ahead, and this is going to be a mixture of knitting and stitching, cross stitch. We'll start with my sweater. This is there we go. This is my sweater using Holst Garn Coast in the color Aconite. I'm using it two-stranded, so that's why I have two cones. This is the color Aconite Coast, which is a cotton wool blend. And this is the pattern. Oh, where's the pattern? There's the pattern. There we go. Pattern. This pattern is drops. There we go. This is the drops design from garnstudio.com Twilight. So this is a nice pull over knit in the round. It's a V-neck sweater, and then it's a V-neck sweater, and the yoke of the sweater has a seed stitch pattern. And I got to the part where it's seed stitch, and then I did something wrong. And I did like 12 rows, and I had to stitch it all back, or tink it back. So here is the sweater so far. That's the body of the sweater. And as you can see, there's no seed stitch because I had to pull it all out. So that was like a half a night while watching the Olympics of tinking. So here's the pile of tinked yarn. So now I'm ready to go ahead and get back into the sweater, but I put it away to work on some other things because I needed a break. So now we can go ahead and get started on the seed stitch. So I will be getting into that here soon. So my sweater. So made some good progress since last time I saw you. I had made some more progress until I had to pull it all out. It happens, but I want it to be correct. I don't want to have to fudge it later on, so I went ahead and just fixed it, and I fixed it. I pulled it back as soon as I found the error, so I don't have to like worry about trying to figure it out later on, and then I put it away. the next thing I worked on was the one day a couple weeks ago, I went up to, my friend and I went to Trenton, which is about a 45-minute drive north of here, to get haircuts, because it's hard to find people that know how to cut hair. Well, it's hard to find people that know how to cut hair that don't charge an arm and a leg around here anymore. And since COVID, the person that used to cut my hair no longer cuts hair. And I've went to a couple places, but they are extremely expensive around here. And I don't want to spend a lot of money for a men's haircut. So I started going to my friend's place now to get a haircut, but we had to drive to Trenton. So, and he was driving that day. So I was like, oh, let me take a sock and I'll knit in the car as we're driving in the car. So I found the sock that I was working on, and I was working on the heel. So of course the heel is double pointed needles. And so I started doing the heel, and as we were driving, one needle slipped out and it went under the seat. So luckily we were in the Dunkin' Donut drive-through. I said, hey, pull over, let me get the needle out so I can continue working. This was like right as we got started. So he pulled over, I got the needle, and we kept going. 2 minutes later, dropped the needle again. And I was like, well, there we go. I'm not knitting anymore. So when we got to Trenton, I got my needles, put it all away, fixed picked up the drop stitch. And then when I got home, I went ahead and did the heel. So, and then since then I've completed the sock. So here is the sock I was working on. This is and of course I don't have the ball band anymore, but I know this is a Knit Picks yarn that is no longer sold because I bought it years and years and years ago, and it's been in my stash and I've never touched. So here is the yarn. And I don't even know what the base is anymore, but it's a sock yarn. And here is the sock that I completed. So since the last time I showed it to you, I had the foot done. So since then, I put in the heel, which is a German short row heel. And then I put in the leg. I did a 2x2 cuff, and then I bound off. So I do toe up socks. So I did the toe up, I did the foot, German short row heel, and then round and round and round for the leg, and then 2x2 rib and the bind off. So one sock done of that pair. So now I have 2 pairs of socks half done. So I need to cast on both of the other socks so I can get both of the other socks done. That is on a US 1.5 or 2.5 millimeter Chalgu circular with the double pointed needle for the heel and the toe. I kind of feel like I'm like spacey and I'm like all out of it today for my talking. All right, we might as well just stick with the knitting and wrap up the knitting here before we move on to stitching. I have a couple more things to talk about with knitting. So with knitting, I have one more sock to show that I've worked on. So the other sock that I worked on, because I completely forgot that I even had this started, was I found the diagonal lace socks that I had started a long time ago. So I started this a long time ago, completely forgot that I had even started it. I believe this is a free pattern that I found online from Who did this pattern? This is a diagonal lace sock by, it doesn't even say who did it. There's no author name. But I found it online. So if you want a sock, I think I did a Ravelry search for free toe-up socks, and this came up. So this is a pair of socks that I'm doing for myself, and this is using Valley Yarns sock yarn called Huntington. So this is a superwash merino wool, 75%, 25% nylon, and I believe this is called chocolate. I could be wrong though. And so I did one full, for this pair of socks, for this sock I did one full pattern repeat, which is 12 rows. And here it is. So again, it's toe up. The pattern calls for a more square toe, and I believe I modified it so it's a more of a rounded toe to meet my needs, because I prefer a rounded toe instead of a squared off toe. And then you just you follow the pattern, the 12-row pattern, until it's the desired length of the foot that you need it to be. And that is actually the color of the yarn right there. That is actually the color that it truly is. That's blown out. But there you can see what the pattern looks like. But that's the true color of the yarn. But there you go. So again, no hurry on this one, but it's a nice pattern just to work if you're looking for something different than a basic sock. All right. Then I did a couple dishcloths. Now, one thing I forgot to mention at the beginning of my video was last video I talked about uploading onto my Etsy store some things for that I was planning on unloading, some things from my stash that I no longer had interest in, that I thought, you know, I could unload, and some things that I was going to sell off, that I could pass off to a new home if you're interested in. Excuse, I'm going to sneeze. Nope, I'm not. So those items are now up in my Etsy store. If you're interested, go check that out. The link will be below in the information section. I also have some dishcloths that I've knit that I have placed for sale in that section of my Etsy store. So if you're interested in some hand knit dishcloths, those are also available in the Etsy store. But I've been just trying to finish wrapping, using up the dishcloth yarn that I have, or the cotton that I have, to use it up and whatnot. So I've been using allergies. I've been sleeping with the windows open because it's so beautiful here. And so the weather has been wonderful, and so my allergies have been really bad. But anyways, so I've been using, finishing up the yarn that I've had for the 100% cotton. And so I made another dishcloth, And so this is using the boxy dishcloth pattern that I have, which is my favorite one to use. And it's really popular from my friends that have received the pattern or received some dishcloths from me. And so some of these are available in my Etsy store now. This one will also become available in the Etsy store here in the future. And I'm currently working on another dishcloth. This is using, so this is a Hobby Lobby yarn. And this is a Knit Picks yarn, Dishy. From this one is called Blue, go figure. And this is the one that I'm currently working on. I have 2 more row repeats to finish on this one. So I may sell these 2 together, which would be a nice pair together. All right, so that is all of the knitting I have done so far. I'm going to clean up the knitting and then we will move over to cross stitch. I will be right back. All right, let's talk about some cross stitch. So along with some dishcloths that are in my Etsy store for stash unloading, there is also some cross stitch kits, as well as I believe there's one more piece of fabric that's left in there, which is the Chromatic Alchemy really modeled piece of fabric that I thought I was gonna put a monochromatic piece on, but I really just don't think it's gonna be something that I can, I personally am gonna be able to stitch on, so I wanted to pass it off to somebody who's really interested in working on that piece of fabric. And I know that's a piece that is no longer sold by Chromatic Alchemy any longer. So if you're interested, go check that out and pick it up for yourself. So with that, the first thing I worked on cross stitch wise is my Renato Perelin La Foresta di Fans. La Foresta di Fans. I am stitching this on a 56 count XG Designs Mandarin. I believe it's called Mandarin. So while it has a subtle orangey tone to it, or citrusy tone to it, because I'm using DMC 938. It doesn't quite. It comes off more of a cream after you look at it. So it has like a creamy mandarin, creamy citrusy tone to it. So here is my progress so far. So actually, you know what? I don't even need that behind there. So there is my progress. So I have done, so again, I'm using DMC. So 56 count, I am using DMC. So you can use DMC on 56 count. You don't need to buy the, I personally think that you don't need to buy the Tudor silks for it. You can use DMC for the 56 count. So I've done, there's 20 trees in the pattern. So I've done roughly, what, 20% of the pattern. I have to do math in my head, which just right now is not working for me. So, so roughly 20% of the pattern is complete. This tree right here took a very long time to do, but I'm really enjoying this pattern. You're going to ask, how can you do work on 56 count? It doesn't, I'm able to work on it really. I have an overhead light that I shine down onto it, and I work on it just like this. I do not use magnification at this time. I do not need to. But I'm really enjoying this pattern. So this again is 56 count 1/2. So 1 strand of DMC over 2 strands of the fabric. And it's going really well. But I needed a break. So I worked on this pretty much monogamously for the entire month of July, or since I started it. And I was slowing down. I was starting to lose interest. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and pull something else out. So I worked on that for a while. And then a while back, I said, when I started working on this piece, my Riolis Red Panda, I realized that I was missing a color. So I was missing the one shade of, I was missing the one shade of green, the last color on the card, number 22. So I reached out via email to the company, because they do have an email on their front card. And I said, hey, I'm missing one of the cards, or one of the colors on the color card. And they were super kind and said, hey, we'll ship that right out to you. But we are in Eastern Europe. Please give us some time to get that to you. So it did take about 2 weeks, but they were super kind. They sent that out to me right away. And I got it. It did roughly take 2 weeks. And so once I got that, I was ready to go jump right back into it. And so I pulled that out Saturday. I think I finished up that last tree on Renato Parolin on Saturday, and then I pulled this out, no, on Friday. And I pulled this out on Saturday. And so I started working on the Panda on Saturday, and I worked the Panda Saturday and Sunday. So you can see I'm mainly working on the blacks and the greens, or the dark colors along with the greens. So it's the underside of his body. I'm saving the colors that I like the best for last, which are, of course, the reddy hues, the burnt umbers, and the orangey colors. Excuse my snifflings. So working on these dark colors first. I know that's not what you're supposed to do, but that's what I'm doing. Again, these are using the acrylic wool that Riolis is known for, which I absolutely love. This is a 14 count gray blue Aida, 14 count Aida, and you use 2 strands of the acrylic wool over the 1 square of the Aida. And what Riolis is also known for is that you blend a lot of the colors. This pattern has lots of blends in it, which is kind of annoying, but it does make it look really, really detailed and awesome when it's done. So there is the Panda so far. You can see this is the nose. So here's the mouth, the bottom of the face, the nose, one of his paws. This is his other paw. And then we're moving back into his back hip. And there we go. So Riolis red panda. And I will be right back. Finally, I had a new start yesterday. So I was really itching to have a new start. And kind of a small start. I didn't want anything big. And I just wanted to work on something different. So I decided to do a new start that I've been wanting to do for many years. I've had this in my queue for, I bought this on Etsy a long time ago. I am sorry I don't have a picture to show you, but you can go to Etsy and go to Fiddlesticks AU to look at this pattern. It's called the British stamp. And so this is something that's going to be a really quick stitch. I'll probably have this done in the next week or so. I already have the majority of it done already, but here is, and you're going to get a good feeling of what this is going to look like already because the majority of it's already done. So you might have already seen this, but this is the bust of Queen Elizabeth and it's a stamp. So I'm doing this and I am changing the colors. This is supposed to be in greens, I think, but who I'm doing this is for is favorite colors are blue. So I decided that I'm going to do this in green, not green, blue. I'm doing this in 336, DMC 336, which I haven't done yet, and 334. So what I did was I already knew I was going to do 336, and what I did was I pulled out my DMC color card, which has the threads on it, and I just looked at what was going to be what works best with that color, and it said 334 would be like 2 shades lighter. So 334 is what I started last night. So I did this last night while watching some Olympics. And so it took me maybe 2 hours to do this part. And so I'll probably work on this a little bit more today, or maybe Riolas, I don't know. But now it's just solid block stitching. So it shouldn't take me long at all to do the remainder. There's not going to be much counting. So this color is done. So now all I have left is 336. So there's the two colors together. But this is actually on a piece of fabric I've never stitched on before. This is 18 count Devosa. So it's an even weave. So like it's not Aida, but it's more like an even weave instead of an Aida. So 18 count Devosa. I was kind of worried about the coverage whenever I first started, but it grew on me pretty well. So 18 count Devosa. It's not going to be much bigger than maybe here to here. And then I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. Maybe a pillow, maybe not. I'm not sure, but we'll see. But there we go. A new start. And soon to be finished. But there we go. So that's everything I have for you today. I hope you're all having a wonderful summer, winter if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, enjoying the Olympics. And I'm enjoying this weather. I love summer. It's my favorite season of the year. And heat and this nice cool down that we're having right now. I'm going to go enjoy the rest of my day off. Not sure what I'm going to get into after I edit this video up and get it uploaded for you all. And yeah, so happy Tuesday, happy whatever day it is that you're watching this. Enjoy your time and crafting, and until I see you again, as always, don't forget to always be creative.